But for the purposes of this episode, let's start from the beginning.
Okay. Yes.
Let's start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hate Spinnerbait, the podcast where we hate spinnerbait, but we love Chrismica.
Chrismica!
I just really wanted to mention Chrismica. We'll be discussing a little bit of the OC today again, and I don't know, it just seemed like an appropriate time, obviously in spring, to bring up winter holidays.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously. But hello, everyone. I don't know what I'm saying today. I just feel like it. I am Bethany. With me, as always, is Michael Ann. Michael Ann, apart from the technical difficulties you're having today, how are you?
Yes. You will all notice there's no microphone in front of me today because my microphone is freaking broken. And I'm so sorry, but I need to make sure that you're going to be able to see Zuko in the corner of this.
Okay, I respect that. It's important to me.
For some reason the recording moves him over there. Okay, so let's try this. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Hi. Hi again.
Hello, everyone. Hi, it is us. We're here living our dreams. Yes, apologies if this isn't our best audio episode, but we're working with what we got, okay? Because the cord died on us. So hopefully we sound good. We did a little test. We didn't sound terrible. We've had worse audio before, so it's good enough. Again, when Dr. Pepper, please sponsor us. When Dr. Pepper, label out correctly, is sponsoring us, this will not be a concern. But until then, this is the best. We got to put out the content. Jackie will be sad if Tuesday rolls around and we don't have fresh content for her. Okay, so like we gotta do it. We gotta roll with the content.
We gotta do it for Jackie.
We gotta do it for Jackie. You know, I hope y'all appreciate it. Mother's Day is coming up. This is the least we can do is give her a fresh dose of Hate Spinnerbait.
Exactly.
But before we dive in to some OC chatter and some other just bits and bob, we don't have a chaos this week because we talked too much last week about the OC in one chapter. Oh, I can see Zuko and Willow now. So this week, you're kind of getting the same thing. You're going to get a little bit of OC. You're going to get a little bit of Once and For All Chapter 5, the long-awaited Chapter 5. We will be discussing, I promise. We're also just going to be getting my rants. Whether you want to listen to them or not, I don't know. But I want to get them out, and I happen to host a podcast. So this is my time to do it. But before all of that, again, just like last week, two things. One, trigger warning from here on out about the heavy material in this novel. A school shooting is referenced. We will be dealing with that. So if that is something that you just cannot handle right now, totally understandable. We will catch you when we are finished with this novel, or catch you on a chaos episode when it's just strictly chaos. Or if you just want to listen to the first 20 minutes as we yap about the OC, cool. Stick around, leave once we talk about the rest of it. But that is just a warning, again, for anyone who's not aware what this book is about. If you've somehow made it into this many episodes about it and you don't know, yeah, that's what it's about. So anywho, that's your warning. And number two, which again is always the not as serious request, is to follow us on the YouTubes. We're on the YouTubes now. We're trying to remember to tell you all that every episode. If you want to come see our faces, you want to come see my cute Taylor Swift book shirt, which just seems very appropriate for this podcast.
Love it.
You can watch us on YouTube. And if not, continue listening to us. That's cool too. But yes, those are the two things that needed to be stated off the top of the episode. Now that is through, I'm ready to dive back into Michael Ann's journey into the OC. Welcome to the OC, bitch. What has been, well, I know from behind the scenes that she's going to season 3. But for everyone else, what has been going on in your journey?
So I'm on season 3 now. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about where I'm at right now. But for the purposes of this episode, let's start from the beginning.
Okay. Yes.
Let's start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Thank you, everyone. We will be here all day.
Thank you. Thank you. It's like weird light thing.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
It looks like. Are you familiar with the show Touched by an Angel? It looks like one of the angels has come when they like finally reveal at the end of every episode when they're like visiting some sad family that they're an angel. That's what it looks like what's happening right now in your bedroom.
I've literally never heard of that show before in my life. I have no idea what you're talking
Oh
about.
my god. Did you miss out on an absolute gem of a television show? Touched
I
by
think
an
I did.
angel.
I think I did. I'll
So
have to
good.
look it up later.
Please look into that.
Um,
Yes.
I don't know what they're doing. Okay, I'm so sorry. I tried to tell Bethany I had to shut down completely, just like um before this episode because I'm like, I don't know, like my ADHD, the tism, it's like on firing
Makes
on
me
all
happy.
cylinders.
Yeah.
So anyway, so apologies. So apologies.
So apologies.
So apologies. Okay. So when I was on season 2, um, so Seth was a little annoying season 2, but I'm starting to like him again.
Yeah, I told you you'll rebound on him.
Yes, I was like starting to be like, okay, you're being a whiny bitch. And
Yeah.
that's just that on that.
Yeah.
Also, how many times do you need to be handed this amazing opportunity to get your comic book made? And how many times do you have to fuck it up? I don't know.
And why are
Um,
teenagers in these shows always like getting these crazy? I'm not saying that this doesn't happen in real life, that occasionally teenagers get really cool opportunities, but like it happens a crazy amount in TV shows like this. Like you run a nightclub, your comic book is being turned into something, like all this different kind of stuff. My little like butterfly earrings are driving me crazy. Okay, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm locked in.
well, I'm not. Okay. I can't believe that they spent all that time on Trey's redemption arc. Like, Sandy put in all this effort, and Marissa puts in all this effort. And how does it end? By him trying to fully rape Marissa on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that that is just too much. Also, justice for Marissa. What the fuck?
Justice for Marissa. Yes.
Like, can we put one happy thing in her storyline for Christ's
No.
sake?
And
But
that's
they're
what I
not
was
going to.
saying. Like they just hit her with every single possible thing. And you're like, you can't even like you can't keep
Including
up.
death.
Including death. Yeah. They literally kill her. Crazy. Truly.
The whipped cream licking contest episode was crazy, but I really enjoyed that the girl that he was licking the whipped cream off of, her boyfriend came and he was like a super Southern Baptist. He's like, "We go to Bob Jones University." I was like, idiots. Um,
Yes. God, this one
I
might have to come out.
I think we talked about Kirsten's
Yeah, it's better.
drinking problem, right?
Yes, we did. Well,
Oh.
we did. I don't know if we discussed it on the podcast.
Okay, so just in case, Kirsten has a drinking problem. She's an alcoholic. I really enjoyed. I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts. First of all, I think I really enjoyed it because it's like very interesting. We don't usually see like the prim proper mom as the alcoholic. We normally see like, Ryan's mom is typically what you see as an
Yeah.
alcoholic, especially in those time periods. So seeing like an actually put together woman, it gives you greater understanding of alcoholism in general. But
Yes.
also, why is it always the women? Why
Yeah.
does everything bad happen to the women, basically?
This is the way of the OC. And I
Like,
think like early aughts teen TV shows for sure.
yes, yes. Um, I did say I can't find Marissa unlikable because she's either just such a sad teenage girl or she's just some man's fucked up misogynist writing.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Either
true.
one.
Either one.
Um, let's see. Oh, I thought Kirsten was going to die in this drunk driving car accident. I'm really glad she didn't because that would have been so dumb. So shout out to the writers. But fun fact I want to mention about this, if they wanted to, they could sue the bartender who served her, and he could go to jail.
This is true. This is true.
So, FYI. Um, don't drive drunk because you might ruin the bartender's life and they don't even fucking know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, they're just like trying to make a living here, y'all. And like honestly,
Mhm.
we put way too much responsibility in their hands and it like should not fall on them. Like it's weird. Like
No.
the whole like Good Samaritan thing, like if you try, like you can't be charged, whatever. Like I remember in my
Yeah.
like CPR first aid class, like we talked about it. I think Emmy may have discussed this as well while she was going over Narcan with us. Like as long as you
Yeah.
try, like you can't be at fault. So I think it's so weird when like trying to save someone's life, which I understand. You're like, well, the bartender like but gave them something to ruin their life. But like if I can't be charged for like giving someone CPR and not saving their life or like technically potentially giving CPR to them incorrectly, like not like, doing the right beats per minute or not going, like enough into their sternum or whatever, then I think it's crazy that we can charge bartenders for just like doing their job, like just serving
And
someone alcohol.
like
And everyone's
there is definitely a time where you can be like where you
oh, we're
can
cutting you off.
acknowledge. Yeah, like you can acknowledge like, you know what, you're done.
Yeah.
But like some people don't present like
Yes,
they're
it's
that
so hard
drunk.
to know.
And like you can't know, like if you say to them like, are you driving home, and they're like, no, I'm getting a cab,
Yeah, like I'm just
but
supposed to
they're
like
lying to
trust
you,
you.
like,
Like
right, like I don't know what else you're supposed to do.
there was a time where I had a group of really drunk Eagles fans, like really drunk Eagles fans, and they were already like feeling it. Their team won, and they asked for another round, and I was like kind of worried because they were like chill. And like Eagles fans are just kind of loud anyways. And you're like, are they being loud because they're just like excited for their team? Are they being loud because they're starting to be inebriated? Whatever. And I remember being like, hey guys, like, how are we getting home tonight? Like before I gave them another
Yeah.
round because I was like kind of worried. Again, because I like didn't want to get in trouble with like the law. And also just like as a good person, I was worried about like these people going on the road and hurting themselves or others. And they were like, oh, we're staying on the resort, we're staying on the resort. And they did pay with their room key, which is like really the only way I knew that they were being honest about that. But like they could have said that and not been telling me the truth. And like, what would I have done? Checked up on that? No, like how, like that shouldn't fall on me, But I was like,
Right.
oh, okay. So we're just like taking the water taxi back to our resort. Coolio, you're not driving tonight. But yeah, if they wouldn't have paid with their room key, like I would have no way to actually verify that. Like,
Right. And you
know.
still don't really have a way. I mean, they can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, we're staying on property," but you have no idea if
Yeah,
they get in
I have
their
no
car
idea
and go to a
if
second
all of
location.
them were staying there. Like maybe two of
Right.
them were, and the other three were room with where the like I have no idea. Anyways, these are deep thoughts with Michael and Bethany about how
Anyways,
this
that
people should
always
be held
annoyed me.
responsible.
That always annoyed me when we were taking our responsible vendors class, was like, if you overserve someone and they get in a car accident, you can go to jail. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, what? That's a lot of pressure to put on you, man.
Also, you don't know what else they're doing. They're like, we don't know what else they're doing, so make sure you're serving properly. Because they could be in the bathroom fucking snorting coke. We have no idea.
Right. And you're like, but that shouldn't be on me.
And no, it should not. Okay. I am really glad that Julie did not end up killing Caleb, but he did end up dying.
Yeah, same. Good riddance to him, No one sought to see him go. No one wants the
No,
wicked.
it was his time.
No one wants the wicked.
The wicked. Oh. The prom episode, epic.
Oh
Love
my god,
it.
so good. So I live for a prom episode of a teen TV
Yes.
show. Live for them.
Yes, 100%. I do.
Go.
Okay, so then Caleb dies, and who swings back around? Like, no big deal. Fucking Jimmy
Jimmy Cooper.
Cooper, thank you. I was like, Cohen is not right. Jimmy Cooper.
Too
Jimmy
many C
Cooper's
names.
back. He's like, oh, Julie, poor Julie, by the way, okay? He's like, poor Julie, I love you. Like, we're gonna get married. Let's get married. And she's like, oh my God, it's because we love each other.
No, of course not.
It's
Of course
because
not.
he needs Caleb's money because he's in financial trouble again.
Oh, Jimmy, just always staying in financial trouble. I can't.
He stays in financial trouble. He stays stealing people's money big
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
Um, but I hate that he like came around. Everyone was just like, "Oh my God, Jimmy!" And it's like
I know. Everyone loves him.
he's been gone from his daughter, who's been suffering from
Mhm.
an alcohol drug problem. But anyway,
Yep. Yep.
no big deal there. Because he ends up getting the shit kicked out of him and leaving town. And I assume forever because Marissa told him, "Don't come back." Um, I wrote here, I think if someone whipped out a gun around me, I would pee my pants because Trey and that girl, what's her name, Jess, are just like sitting at his apartment and she's just like gun on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. I'd be getting the hell out of Dodge personally. I would
I would
not be
be like,
staying there.
no, I'd be like, I gotta fucking go, or you gotta fucking go. Oh, this gun needs to get out of my vision. Get out of
Yeah.
here. But of course, that leads to like a drug bust at the bait shop, and there's like a shooting at the club, and I'm like, oh my God. Um, oh, I also said I would be so powerful if Sandy Cohen was my father. But I do also want to mention that Sandy Cohen is getting mixed up in some trouble.
Sandy, he just couldn't keep his nose clean, like he was really like such an icon the first couple seasons, and I think they were like, no, we've given the drama to everyone else but Sandy, and we have to give him some drama. And I was like, no, why couldn't someone just stay the voice of reason?
Now they're like, nope, we have to make Sandy a piece of shit, actually, a piece of
Yeah.
shit rich person.
Yeah.
Even though like his whole thing is that he's
He's
a
like not
DA.
the like,
Yeah.
yeah, piece of shit rich person. Like he's a DA. He's in it for the people. He's one of us. Came from
He
nothing.
came from nothing, exactly. Um, oh, I also said I don't think Marissa is unlikable. I think Misha Barton is a bad actress.
Yes, I think that is honestly part of it. And I don't mean that as any shade to her. I'm sure she's a
No
lovely
shade.
person, but I just it's I don't yeah, some people. She's just in a cast of like pretty good actors. She's definitely the weakest link, I think, and that doesn't, help her obviously.
Yeah. Um, Oh yeah, then Marissa gets fucking expelled for defending herself and her boyfriend against a man who raped her and was trying to kill her boyfriend. Like that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever, but these rich people are
Yeah.
so dumb. Like, I'm sorry. What about Jess, the girl who's dealing drugs and like passed out in a pool, overdosed in a pool? Also, about the overdosing in a pool. This show does some weird cuts, okay? Why did we see Jess in the bedroom about to like get it on with Trey, and then literally the exact next scene is her overdosed in the pool? What happened in that room? Why didn't we get more information?
I am curious if I haven't watched some of this in a minute. Again, this season I've rewatched most recently is season 4, and I've explained last week, that whole shebang to bang. I have not rewatched like season 2, season 3 era. Like I watched a couple episodes that I really liked, like rewatched those, but I haven't watched like the full seasons in a while. I'm curious if some of that is like a copyright issue thing. Like maybe in the original run of the show that wasn't an issue, but maybe when they put it on streaming, music rights tends to be what screws over TV shows, and maybe it's like, oh, we couldn't get the right to that and they just like did an edit instead of like putting in a different song. Most of the time people will put in a different song, but I'm curious if that's like an actual OG like OC issue, or if it's a like copyright issue thing. I have no
Who's
idea because I haven't seen it in a minute.
who's got the DVDs? Break them out. Let us know.
I do actually.
Oh, perfect.
I legitimately do. Do I own? I think I own at least the first 3 seasons. I don't think I ever bought the 4th season, which now I'm very much in the camp of justice for season 4. But I do actually own the first 3 seasons on the OC. So yeah, I guess we'd have to watch the DVDs to know. But it's probably just the show is actually bad. But I was thinking about that the other day because we have kind of again been discussing this on all the time, not just when we're recording. I
Yes.
get updates on Mike Land's journey. And at first I was like, yeah, like, whatever. Like sometimes I think like the show wasn't like the most well made. And then the other day I was like, or maybe it's just like now that it's on streaming thing. I'm not really sure. It could go either way with the OC, honestly.
It could. It was the early aughts.
Yeah. Who knows? They were just trying to slap out episodes. This is when you had to come up with 24 episodes a season, y'all. Like, it was times were tough.
It was
But also
amazing.
great.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. I miss meaty seasons of TV. Oh, so
Me
much.
too. Marissa has serious I can fix him energy, and so does Ryan. That's like
both
their
of them.
thing.
Yeah, like
That's their thing.
That's 100% both of their like biggest downfall, in a sense.
And then they bring back Marissa's little sister, and they age her up a lot, and then try to claim that she's 14. And
I love it
and
about TV shows.
the whole time she's back, she has this like boyfriend following her around who's like 18.
Yeah.
And Marissa at one point is like she's 14, and he's like, oh, she told me she was 16. Marissa's like, well, she lied to you. Does that stop him? No, it does not.
Sure doesn't.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm on season 3. I saw the Johnny storyline. The Johnny storyline was so strange, and then they again ended it by killing him. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why did we go through all of that like surgery fundraiser for the surgery, yada yada yada, what have you, just to kill him off?
I think in my humble opinion, season 3 might be the weakest. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that's the case. It's very, they were just throwing anything and seeing if it would stick, including killing off a main character.
Yes. Yeah. I'm only a few episodes in. I don't think I'm that many episodes in, but like I just saw Julie Cooper and Mr. Roberts' neighborhood.
Mr.
Rogers. Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Dr. Roberts. Dr. Roberts, he and Julie are engaged, but he's kind of leaving. He's kind of like, we may get married. We may not, though, because your life is kind of fucking crazy. So we'll see if that works out. Marissa's back to her old shit, being a fucking bitch to everybody and drinking again and hooking up with Volchek.
Yeah.
Which, like, why? I don't know why this, like, tickles me, but Volchek?
Yeah. Which I believe is played by Cam Gigandi. Little Cam Gigandi in an early role.
We have Cooper, Cohen, Atwood, Roberts,
Volchek.
They
wanted it to sound like a villain. Yeah.
Yes. They were like, okay, it's time to break out the Russian last names.
Honestly, great last names in this show. Cooper, Cohen. Yeah, I don't know. They nailed it on the names in this show. I'll give them that.
They did. I'm very much enjoying it. I like Summer and Seth now. There was like a time period where I was like, no, thank you.
Yes.
But they're cute, and we got Tyler now in the show, who's whatever. I mean, she's like evil Deb. She's like if Deb chose chaos instead of kindness.
Taylor also gets better. She's I can't stand her in season 3, and then season 4, I feel like she's a much better character. So you have that to look forward to. But yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's basically it. Seth is going to Brown, maybe.
Yeah.
Summer might be going there too. We don't know.
At least in this show, it was more believable when all these kids were trying to go to these fancy pants schools, because I was like, well, you are rich, so your parents can afford it. But in most TV shows, I'm always like, yeah, exactly. They go to prep school. But in a lot of TV shows, I'm like, why can no one ever just like go to a state school? Like, why? Like, why aren't we just like?
I know.
It's like, always
for a brief moment, Summer was like, oh, I'll go to Providence. Like, it's right near you. That's in regular school.
Yeah, it's a regular school, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Then she's like, I got a 2,300 on my SATs, which is like 100 points away from perfect, right?
Yeah, because the 2,400 is like the current, like, because it used to be 1,600, and then they moved up to 2,400. I think 2,400 is the perfect score. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
They don't
like,
even have
"Oh,
to fucking take SATs anymore, so
I know, lucky bitches."
lucky sons of bitches.
And I'm happy for
Ugh,
y'all. I am, but I'm sad that we had to have endured that.
yes, I
Stupid.
suck at standardized testing,
Same.
especially science.
And it was like
Um,
a big part of us doing well in school, and it was weird to me, and always has been.
yeah.
But yes, alas, we are almost 30 minutes in. I still have a brief rant, and then
Oh, yes.
we're only doing one chapter, y'all. So it's
So it's
I
fine.
tell I tell myself as if okay, all right. I've never had a brief thought in my life, so I really am going to try to keep this under time because we actually have to discuss what we're here to discuss. But here's my quick rant, and I just want to know, like, it's a rant slash. I'm like, am I the weird one? Like, maybe I'm the weird one, which is about okay. So this has come up because my current hyperfixation, The Last of Us, which is a recurring hyperfixation because when the first season came out, I was hyperfixating on it, and obviously took a pause before season 2 came out, and I'm currently back in. And this is what y'all need to understand: when I'm hyperfixating on something, I want to consume it. Like, I want to consume every piece of media, think piece, anything that I can about it, which means that when I watch an episode, it's not just like, oh, I watched that episode, it was good. No, I want to talk about it with someone. I then also, that doesn't scratch the itch enough for me. I then need to read the interview, like the post-mortem that like they're doing with like an Entertainment Weekly or something. I then need to go online and watch content about it or read content about it on, wherever I can find it. And so because I have been gravitating toward TikTok more recently, I have been on TikTok trying to get Last of Us content to be in my For You page because I built this For You page brick by brick, baby, and I want good content. So I start getting some good content, and I'm like, yes, love it, eat it up, delicious. But then if you start looking up the Last of Us content on the TikTok, and really this is anywhere online, any article you read, anything, it's just endless debates about casting. And I am
Ugh.
sick of it. I'm sick of it, especially when some of the characters, this is the second effing season. This is not even their first season that they're in. And I'm like, how are we still debating on if they should be this character or not? And I just don't understand when there's like, and it's not because, again, and I like saying no disrespect to Misha Barton, but like because they're bad actors, it's just because they don't like the way that they look, the way that this fictional character doesn't fit the fictional character or whatever. And I just don't get it. I'm the type of person who, even like the whole Harry Potter thing, like he has his mother's eyes thing, just never bothered me. I don't care. Like the way someone looks, casting news is never exciting to me unless I know them as an actor and I'm like, oh, I know that they're a really good actor and I'm excited for them to be in this thing. But when it's an unknown, like I remember when Twilight was a thing, like, and Robert Pattinson was cast and people were like bitching about it and whatever. And I was like, I'm not a casting director. I'm not a director. I'm not in the entertainment industry. The people that cast this man are. And if they say that he is their Edward Cullen, I'm a trust them. Like they do this all. Like I would hate it if someone came into my job and told me how to do my job when they've never done it. And I don't know why people like insist on doing this. And it just like drives me up a wall. And I just want to enjoy my hyperfixation and look up content about my hyperfixation without people constantly talking about fucking casting in it. It drives me effing crazy. And like, this is their one thing that they're really like about. And again, half the time it's just sexist bullshit. Like, I was
Yeah.
attracted to this video game character, and I'm not attracted to the actor portraying this video game character. Wow, wow, wow. Shut up. Shut up. Go touch grass. Literally, go touch grass. Drives me absolutely crazy. My favorite thing about this season is they've introduced the character Abby, who is in The Last of Us 2 video game, and now season 2, obviously, The Last of Us. And the character has muscles, is like very fit in the video game. Cool, I get it. That's awesome. We love a fit queen. But people are really pissed off that the actress portraying her is scrawny, and they're like, but her muscles is what explained that she hated this other character. I think her acting can do like that's their only justification is they're like she spent 5 years bulking up because she wanted to like basically come after this one character, and if she doesn't have the muscles then they're not staying true to her character. What? I can tell that this person hates this other person. Like you can do that
Hmm.
in your emotions, in your acting, in your portrayal of the kid. Like I don't get it. Like none of them are things that matter. Like,
Yeah.
when people get up in arms about a person of color being cast in something that's not traditionally an animated fucking movie, that is not a person of color. And I'm like, it's a drawing. It's a someone drew that character. They are not a real person. And like, people are probably like, Bethany, I mean, you don't understand. You've never had it happen to you. Blah, 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 blah. First of all, I've grown up reading books that have been adapted into movies. And you're like, okay, well, that's in your imagination. They didn't have like some whatever. I just want y'all to know, I'm going to tell you a quick funny story because I want to share this story, but also to prove how much the character Ahsoka Tano means to me, like an insane amount. Like probably one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character of like any piece of fiction ever. And she was originally an animated character. She's an animated character, voiced by the amazing voice actress Ashley Eckstein. We love you, my queen. And they decided to bring her into live action. Obviously, there's lots of debate who's going to be her, blah, blah, blah. They cast Rosario Dawson. I am hyped. I love Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson's a great actress.
Same.
She's going to be like so great in this. I'm so excited. First images come out, and of course people are bitching. That's not what I thought she would look like. The Montrails aren't right. Blah, 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 blah. It's a completely different format. She was an animated character, people. She was pixels on a screen, and now they have to make that person a real life person. Okay, like I don't understand. Like I don't care. Like I just don't get. Like, the only thing is, I want you to be a good actor. I want you to portray the character. I hate it when writers write characters like out of character. When I'm like, oh, I don't think the character would have done that. But I've never looked at a character and like been like, oh no, that's not who I would have cast. I'm not a casting. I don't like it's just I'm done. I'm done with it. I like can't, and I need people to shut up about it on the internet so I can enjoy my things. But this is my funny story, okay? About how much Ahsoka means to me. So as y'all know, I have my seasonal tree and I've been decorating it. And then I also decorate my coffee table, and I switch out like a seasonal candle and like put like I have like a little tray, and I like to put different decorations in the tray. So I've been doing it, did it for Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter. Now, of course, for me, May, very important month. May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars month, baby. So I decorate my tree, Star Wars. Yay. It's very easy for me to decorate for May the 4th because my house is already 90% decorated for it year round. So do that. Then I was like, I want to put some little trinkets on my little tray on my coffee table. And so I put a little Ahsoka. I had this like I am no Jedi sign from my bridal shower. So I repurposed that into a cute little frame and made it a little like decoration on my coffee table. And then I was like, oh my God, shockingly, I do not have any Star Wars candles. And really didn't want to like go and buy one. And I was like, well, I got this cool Taylor Swift candle for my birthday, so I will just put that out because I wanted to use that anyways because it's new and exciting. So I put my Taylor Swift candle out with my Ahsoka decorations on my coffee table. Y'all wait for it. This is I don't think you understand how much Ahsoka means to me, which again, if someone who like this means this much to them didn't give a shit what the live action character version of her looked like, I don't know what to tell you. Y'all are just weird and sexist and gross and like kind of perverted, okay? But anyways, so anywho, the candle that my mom got me for my birthday is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And so I put that out next to the Ahsoka stuff. And I'm not lying, guys, legitimately started crying because I realized that it's the most like Ahsoka coded song like that. And You're On Your Own Kid are so Ahsoka coded. And I was like, no, but she really did do it with a broken heart. And I just like was crying. And it was so stupid, but I was like so emotional about it. And I texted my friend Kristen, who is a fellow, like she's the person who introduced me to Clone Wars and Ahsoka. So I texted her and I was like, do you see what I did? Do you see what I did on my coffee table and why it's sad? And she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then we were talking about it. And I was telling people at work today about it. And I started tearing up again. And people are like, well, what is wrong with you? But y'all, like that is how much she means to me. Yeah, again, I would be mad if if the writers ever wrote her out of character. If I was like, no, I love this character for years, and that is not something she would say, that is not something she would do, or whatever. That would bother me. But I have never looked at a casting choice purely on looks and been like, nah, that's not it for me. Like I just can't understand that. I'm sorry. Just cannot understand that. But yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah. And also, like I said, it's just a lot of the times it's just sexist and
racist.
And racist and all the things. Yeah, basically. people just being prejudiced in one way or another, and I don't have time for it. So please, creators of TikTok, please start making some more videos about the things I want to discuss, and stop with the GD casting content comments. I can't do it anymore. I keep being like, no, not that. Yes, I like this. I'm trying to build my For You page.
God damn it.
God damn it. These people, they're messing up my algorithm. Okay, that was my rant about people and casting. And
I loved it.
I just remember people being so butthurt about the Harry's eyes. You have your mother's eyes thing. And I was like, y'all, it ain't that serious.
No.
And then it's just bothered me ever since. Also, quick aside to my rant, John Lithgow, I just want you to know that I'm very disappointed in you. I was disappointed from you from the start for taking this role in the new Harry Potter series. And then your comments that came out have not made it better. And I've always really liked you. And you've taken on a lot of roles in your very storied career. A lot of really progressive LGBT roles. Literally, he has played transgender characters before. And for him to not understand why people are upset about him taking on the role of Dumbledore, meaning that you're J.K. Rowling's going to profit more off of this stuff when she's saying the things that she is, it's super upsetting. So I just want to throw that out there. John Lithgow, upset at you. Thank you. Okay.
I haven't been following anything about this TV show because I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But I also don't know actors by name. I need to know who this guy is.
You'll know him for sure. Like, he's been in so many things, and he's like a very beloved person. And I was like, my dude, what do you do?
Oh, from fucking Frasier.
Is he in Frasier? He might be in Frasier.
No, Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock from the Sun. Yeah, he was in that. Yeah, he's in many things, and and yeah, it's very disappointing. On the other hand, kudos to you, Pedro Pascal, for basically telling J.K. Rowling to fuck off. That was great.
I love him.
Everyone be more like him and less like John Lithgow. He's like, I wasn't even aware of these comments. And then someone made me aware. And I was like, I don't see what this has to do with anything to do with me being cast in this. And I wonder how J.K. Rowling must feel about it. I don't effing care how she feels about it. Honestly, shit. I hope it keeps her up at night, to be honest. I hate her. But yeah, and then they were like, does this dampen your feelings on being cast in the role? And he's like, oh, certainly not. And I was like, sir.
Yeah.
Anyways. So that was
80 years old.
Yeah. He's 80 years old.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever, bro. Old white man disappointing us once again. Anyways.
Always.
Now that we're like 40 minutes into this episode, let's finally actually read chapter 5, everyone.
Good idea.
Hope y'all enjoyed our thoughts on everything else. Okay, chapter 5. Just a quick recap. So our girl Luna, her parents, well, kind of her parents, they're basically like her parent figures. Her mother works a wedding planning business with her longtime friend William, who basically is almost like a father figure for her. And they're not really hype on love. She isn't either, because something happened with the boy, but we don't know what exactly happened with the boy, but we're kind of starting to allude to maybe what could have happened to this boy. And homegirl graduated. Yay. Ambrose is a very Sarah Dessen manic pixie dream boy, and we love that for him. And that basically, and Jilly is her best friend. And Jilly's like, girl, you got to get out there. Like, let's go. I know you have sadness in your life, but like, here we go. And here we are, chapter 5. Jilly is like, they're at this basically graduation party. And she's like, see, making memories, you and me, just like the yearbook. I also want everyone to know, as the former editor-in-chief of my yearbook, that for the first half of the year, so the rule at my school was only seniors knew the yearbook theme. Only seniors in yearbook class. And so we had a fake name that we put as if we were like making a big budget Marvel movie or something. We had basically an alias name that we would put it under for the rest of the year. And then we put the real one out, toward the end of the year for the rest of the class to know. And it was a big thing. No one out of yearbook would have cared what a theme was. I don't think most people know that yearbooks have themes, but they do. and making memories obviously is this one. But if you were in yearbook for like all 4 years, it was a big deal. Like your senior year that you got to pick the theme, and you got to like keep it a secret all year and then reveal it at the end of the year. So anyways, it's taking me back to that.
Fun.
Taking me back to my journalism nerdy ways. Anywho's, so here they are at this party. They're screaming to be, heard over each other. And she says that she kind of goes back a little bit to the graduation. Basically, with Steve, he did end up making it, so he was in fact right behind them, right in between them. She said that, they told the crowd repeatedly not to cheer, but she heard William's voice shouting "Bravo" somewhere in the distance when she walked across the stage. Again, I love her and William and their relationship. I think it's adorable. He seems like a good egg. But anywho, so yes, there we are back at the party. And she says that she's dating with this guy that Jilly had introduced her to earlier, Jeff J. She wasn't really sure. And he comes up to her and he's like, "Oh, it's punch. Like the keg was out," typical high school graduation. They're drinking. She says, "Great" to him. And then in her head, she's like, "No way in hell was I drinking that. Thanks." And I was like, smart girl. Smart girl. Never take a drink that, you are from a strange man. But anyways, so they're just like chilling, they're bumping and grinding. Jilly's like living her best life, even though Luna's like not living her best life. And she's like, "Isn't this the best? Bring on college. I'm so ready." And I was like, oh, she's going to be that girl who like really goes all out her freshman year. And I love that for her, but also I'm scared for her a little bit. And so Luna's just kind of like, yeah, like totally, absolutely. Here I am. Jeff's arm tightens around her and she kind of feels herself tense. She's like, by reflex, I try to put like a little bit more space between us, but like no luck. Like he's latched on. We're in a room full of swarming teenagers. And so he's like, "Oh, I've never seen you out here before. What's your story?" And she's like, "Oh golly, I really do not want to give this guy my whole story, especially while we're out in like a sweaty dance floor." And so she's like, "Maybe I was overthinking this. I just gave him the quickest answer I could." And she's like, I turned toward him, kind of gathering her thoughts when she opens her mouth. He suddenly is kissing her. And she's like, "No way did I see it coming. There was not a lean in, like anything like that." He just kind of like on top of her out of nowhere, like a jump scare. She says, he tasted like beer and all I could feel was his tongue. Immediately wrenched my head away from his, although his hand was still tight on my hip. And so she basically is like, "Don't, like, nope, not into that. No, thank you." And he's like, "We're just dancing, baby." Gross, Jeff J, whatever your name is. And so she turns around, like trying to catch Jilly's eye to like get out of the situation. And she basically like can't find her anywhere. And so she says that, it was that same feeling I got sometimes of things being too much, too full, more than I could take. I had a flash of people running from a building, arms over their heads, and my stomach lurched. So again, earlier in the day when they were shopping for graduation outfits, they saw on the news that there had been a school shooting. And so she's kind of just been in that, like, it's been in the back of her mind all day. So she tells herself to breathe, like she's here in the present, everything is okay. But the images kept coming, wide shots, narrow ones, helicopter view, and then suddenly something totally different. A boy on a beach in a white shirt, hand reaching out, an instant of comfort, safety, home. Even though it hadn't happened in months, I could feel it was about to happen. The panic rising like liquid filling me up. I pulled away from Jeff. As he yanked me back, my vision started to blur. So she's kind of like basically about to have a panic attack here in the middle of this like dance floor where this guy's like basically trying to grope her. So she says that she closed her eyes, says a familiar prayer. Ethan, I thought. So she thinks of Ethan, who again is we're kind of realizing is the guy that she, had a relationship with. Then she suddenly ends up face to face with Ambrose. And this is so, oh my God, Ambrose. He just goes, "Conga!" and basically helps her make her escape via conga line, which is honestly fantastic. And I love that. So he pulls her away. He ends up kind of being her savior in this moment while she's about to have a panic attack and she's on the floor and she can't find her friend. And, they're like basically head outside, and Ambrose just immediately starts like basically making fun of this guy. And he's like, did you see the ears on him? You think the world sounds really loud to him, like all the time. And she's like still about to have a panic attack. So she's kind of like, focus on my breathing right now. She's like kind of trying to be nice. And she's like, I'm all about distinctive features. Or no, so he says, I'm all about distinctive features. He continued, and it's not like he can help it. Cards you're dealt and all that. But I bet he got called Jughead a lot as a kid. And if he didn't, someone was falling down on the job. And then he's like yammering while she's like having a panic attack, but it like in a good way. Like he's not yammering and like he's not like he I think is very aware of the fact that she's struggling and is like, we're gonna talk about like something silly.
Yeah.
So anyways, he asked her if she's going to drink that, which is the punch that she was given by this guy. And she's like, no, I'm not going to drink that. And so, he gives her, she ends up giving him the cup or whatever. And she says that they're on the front deck where they'd ended up after our conga exit from Jeff and the dance floor. And just then this girl comes out, one of the boa girls, as she calls them, comes out and is like, Ambrose, I've been looking for you. And he's like, oh, I'm here. Like, I've been found, I guess. And she's like, oh my God, like you said, you're gonna like dance with me. Are you gonna come dance with me? And he's like, yeah, like I'm a man of my word. Like I'll be in a minute. Like I'm just like having a conversation here. Like I'll be back or whatever. So he kind of, brushes her off. Which I think he says, Luna and I here are talking business. I'll come find you.
Yes.
They work together. I love that. We're talking business right now. So she goes off pouting, and he promises her like, yeah, just a few minutes, I'll be on in. And she's all like flirty back with him, like, oh, I'm counting on it. Like, I'll see you in there, whatever. So then he goes back inside and he asks, are you so yeah, he finishes her punch, which I was like, bold move, sir. And he's like, are you serious with all this? Or no, she asked, are you serious with all this? And he's like, what's this? And she's like, like the way you just talked to that girl, like she came out here like clearly like wanting to like very flirty with you or whatever, and like that's like how you responded to her or whatever. And he's like, I never joke when it comes to pretty girls. And she's like, of course you didn't. So he says, don't feel bad about not understanding me, though. He said, I'm kind of an enigma, mysterious, hard to know. And it's like, first of all, so pretentious, but also, second of all, like, yeah, he kind of is an enigma. And again, this is like so Sarah Dessen, like male protagonist. Like, yeah, that's great. And so she says, people that are hard to know don't often announce the fact that they are hard to know, which is maybe my favorite line in this chapter, because it's so true. Like, if you're going around being like, I'm an enigma, like, I'm really hard to figure out. And it's like, no, because like people who are actually mysterious don't point out that they're mysterious. Right. And so he's like, oh, like that's part of the enigma thing, always staying unexpected. So what happened to you back there? He's kind of like, okay, we've had our little bands, like let's get back to the serious, which again, this is some A+ Sarah Dessen bands here.
Yes, 100%.
100% good bands. And so she's like, oh, I was hot, I got lightheaded. And again, Ambrose, very like aware of things, very aware of his sounding, very astute. He was like, he asked her, so old Jughead groping you wasn't an issue? So like he definitely saw that. And again, the conga exit was like definitely on purpose, which like, gentlemen, we appreciate you for that. So she's like, oh, like, it wasn't a grope, like it was fine. Like she kind of brushes it off, plays it off. And he's like, no, that was like a grip. Like he had a grip on you. And he says, if you have to clutch a girl, you're doing something wrong. Yes. Thank you. Amen. Agreed. I'm glad that you see that. And he's like, definitely not a mysterious enigma. And she's like, oh, like my friend, like just set me up with him. Like it's, it's not serious. And he's like, might be time for a new friend. Like, honestly, this is so quality. And like, no offense, Jilly, you seem great. But like, I love that he's just like calling it like it is. He's like,
yes,
if you have to do that to a girl, like you're not like your game's, like you're doing something wrong. And he's like, I don't know, you might want to hang out with better people if like people like that are setting up people like that. And she's like, oh no, like she means really well. I just like haven't, like been out and about much lately. Like my social game's not really great, to say the least. And he's like, not social. What's that like? And then she says, as if on cue, Another boa girl comes back out. She actually thinks it's the first one at first. And again, like very flirty, like, Ambrose, are you hiding from me? And he's like, no, not me. And kind of like promises her the same thing, like, yeah, I'll be with you in a minute. Blah, 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 blah. And again, this girl kind of walks away pouting. And so she's like, this is just like ridiculous, this guy. Like, I don't understand like what charm he has on these girls. I like that this conversation has something to do with like all that in a bag of chips. And he's like, you had me at chips.
Yes.
Like, these girls are falling for this. It's ridiculous. But anyways, so she meanders on off, and all Luna has to say about this is wow, which is accurate. And he's like, agreed, I'm all for innuendo, but you can take it too far. And so she asks, like, how do you know these girls since she just moved to town? And he's like, they picked me up when I was walking here. Which again, it's like, so you were walking, like you were just walking to this party? And like, does that beg the question, did he learned about this party from her texting? Did he come just because like he saw her texting about this party? He was like, party, I'll be there. Fantastic. So he says, I walk everywhere. And she's like, by choice? And he's like, by order of the state of California. I'm currently between licenses. Such an interesting way to put it. And she's like, I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. And she's like, this is about wrecking your mom's car. And he says, partially. And then getting back to her, he's like, so you're not social by choice or due to your personality? Which is so also a bold thing to say. And this is honestly the chapter. I liked the tape everywhere last chapter, which I think is phenomenal. But this chapter is like the most I've warmed to Ambrose so far. First of all, like being a gentleman, getting her out of there. But the bants in this chapter, like the banter is so good. The fact that he's kind of ragging on her a little bit, like you need like kind of the push and pull. Like if she's ragging on him, then he has the right to like rag on her. But again, he's doing it in like a good natured way. And he clearly cares and like wants to get her out of a situation and kind of get her out of her head as well. And so she's like, what do you mean my personality? And he's like, like you are a bit prickly. Like you're not like the most happy-go-lucky person. And she's like, oh, like I'm not, like it's just been a hard year. Dating hasn't exactly been a priority. And so he's like, oh God, like he wants to date. And she's like, oh, like not you apparently. And he says, I like the process, not the end game. Courtship is my thing. Just like, which she makes fun of him for. And she's like, did you really say courtship? Like, also, who talks like that? Like, courtship is not my thing. Like, how old are you, my dude? So anyways, again, he's kind of like making fun of her. And he's like, oh, you're prickly and hard of hearing. And he's like, there's a reason they call it the thrill of the chase. And so she kind of surmises that he must not like do commitment. And he's like, why would I? That's what they do with crazy people. And he's like, look, which I was like, a terrible joke. It's terrible fun, Ambrose. Look, it's not like I'm tricking anyone. I'm clear in the fact that my intention is to have, well, no intentions, which I appreciate. Like, if you're open and upfront about it and the other person is a consenting adult and is like, yeah, that's fine with me too, then like, they can't get mad at you for that, So she says, did you not just promise a dance, a shot, and a bag of chips? And he's like, that's not a relationship. Like, that's just a list of things that we can do together. Like, it's totally different. So the door slides open again. She once expected to be another boa-clad girl coming out to flirt with Ambrose, and instead it's Jilly who's looking for her. And she says, I've been so worried. What happened? Like 1 minute we're having fun dancing and then you're gone. And so Luna kind of lies and says that she got lightheaded. She doesn't say that like I was about to have a full-blown panic attack because I started thinking about, bad things happening in school shootings and this guy was groping me and it was all too much. And so Ambrose kind of points it out. He's like, and groped. Jughead and his big ears were all over her. You finally got a chance to make her social, and that's the route you choose. I guess.
Savage.
A savage. I honestly, you need someone like that in your corner who's like, your friend did not do a great choice for you.
Yeah.
So she's like, it said something about how concerned Jilly was that up to this point she hadn't paid much attention to Ambrose. Usually she didn't miss anything, especially a male anything. now that she'd spotted him, she was pissed because he's kind of being mean to her. And she's like, who the hell are you? And he's like, Ambrose Little. I work with Luna. And she's like, no, you don't. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, she's my best friend. Like, I know everything. And he's like, well, like this did happen like pretty recently. Like, and she's like, how recent? And he's like, well, today, basically. This is pretty much a today sort of situation. But so he's like, if you don't know someone, they don't exist. And she says that, she basically waves him off, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea that Eric was getting handsy. I'm sorry. It was crazy out there. And then this is when Luna realizes that she was way off on the name because she was calling him Jeff or Jay, and his name is Eric. And she's like, not that I felt bad about it at this point, but still, she was like, dang, I like really am out of it if I thought that I was like way off on his name. And so she's just like, oh, like it's fine, like I'm ready to go. And so she walks away, and she's still kind of having Jilly's still having about the fight that she doesn't work with Luna, and Luna kind of butts in, and she's like, actually, like as of today, he kind of does work with me. And so she talks about the fact that Eric, now that she knows that his name is Eric, was getting grabby, and that Ambrose kind of came in and saved her. He says performed a conga extraction, just one of my many specialties. Print it, put it on the resume. That's great. I can perform a great conga extraction. So Julie says to him, I don't think I like you, which honestly is like a very fair response to the first time meeting Ambrose. I think like, I get it. I do understand. And which he agrees. He's like, a common reaction. I'll win you over eventually. Which, yeah, to have that kind of level of confidence. That's great. So she's completely at a loss of words. She's just like, okay, like, let's go. And just then Ambrose gets called inside by one of the many, suitors of his. And he's like, that's my cue. And then he asks to her, you okay? All better now. And which again, I just think is sweet that he does like check in on her one more time, make sure that she is being left in good hands, since much like Jilly doesn't seem to like Ambrose, but I also feel like Ambrose doesn't really much like Jilly right now. So he wants to make sure that he can trust her with his friend. And she says, if only I thought, was there even such a thing? I could feel Jilly watching me aware of this moment, or whatever it was between his question and my answer. I'm fine, I said. Thanks again. So again, she kind of brushes it off. He leaves. They, go ahead and head back inside. And this is when
I do just want to say, when he's leaving, he's like, lovely to make your acquaintance. And Jilly says, you too. And he was like, see, you're coming around.
Yeah. He's like, I told you I'd win you over. Look, we've barely known each other 10 minutes and you're already coming around, which like, bless, honestly. So yes, so Jilly looks pensive, and she's like, is it weird that I'm strangely attracted to him, even if I dislike him totally? And which like, yeah, girl, we've all been there. And Luna's like, yeah, and she's like, I figured he's not really my type anyway. Too good looking, and he knows it. Not to mention he just screams of asshole. And so Luna kind of like in a weird way defends him a little bit. Well, she's kind of like, I don't know if I would like put him like that. And she's like, you think? And she's like, don't you? And so Luna says, if she'd posed this question earlier that day, or even at the wedding where we'd first met, my answer certainly would have been yes. Ambrose was cocky, entirely too confident in his own charm. He had little or no regard for other people's time or feelings. I'm about as shallow in his intentions as anyone I'd ever met. And now he is most likely working each one of those Boa girls against the other, adding to this list. And yet, I couldn't deny that what happened on the dance floor earlier. It wasn't how Ambrose appeared when, in my panic, everything had gone wavery, the whooshing about to begin in my ears that would take me down, nor is it the way he'd sat with me afterward, peppering the night with his prattle, with his prattle as I tried to fill my lungs with air. Instead, it was a beat in between, something small, when he took my hand and began to pull me out of the crowd, and I felt myself, my prickly, antisocial self, squeeze his fingers once tightly. He squeezed back like a question and then an answer, a call and response, without either of us saying a word, which is like, first of all, that I read like 2 paragraphs there because it's just so good. But also, Yes, I think this is so interesting. Like literally, this is only the third time we've met Ambrose, and so far, like in the last chapter, I think he's like charming and kind of funny. But like, I wouldn't want to hang out with that guy. I was like, I wouldn't want to hang out with this guy. Like he does kind of seem like a dick, you know, and he does seem very arrogant and very full of himself. But this chapter, like this third meeting, and it's like, and he's so right. He's like, I'll win you over eventually, which is true. Like he very quickly, like the way you first meet him. I mean, he's right. Like, he is an enigma. Like, you're like, oh, this guy. Okay. Like, I know his type. But then he does things like this, and you're like, okay. Like, he's a good in. But yes, I just love that paragraph. Like, her talking about, like, it wasn't even like him staying out here when I was like this. It wasn't even this. Like, it was this one small moment where I saw his humanity, and I was like, oh, yeah, like, he's not a terrible person. Yeah, Sarah, you're doing it.
Sarah.
I stayed at the party for another hour or so, more for Jilly than herself, because, you know, here they are making memories. And then at 3:30 a.m., we piled into a rideshare with some guys Jilly knew and headed home. Which, like, I love that 3:30 a.m., like, just heading home. And I was like, oh, yes, to be 18 again and be like, yeah, party. The night's just starting, 3:30 a.m., baby.
I know.
That's just fantastic. So she heads home. William is asleep on the couch where he often crashed when he and my mom stayed up talking late. I also love that. Like, I love that, like, I don't know. Again, he's like such a presence in her life. Like, for someone that like didn't have a dad, like I like that she like has, you know, someone in her life that is like a presence. That can be kind of almost like a father figure. Anyways, so there he is. She picks up an Afghan and covers him, which I also just think is just a very sweet, quiet moment. And, you know, goes upstairs basically, where she says, you know, like she'd been up almost 24 hours straight. Like she really like should go to bed. Like she needs to go to bed. And instead, of course, she's not able to sleep. And she finally picks up her phone from where it was charging on the nightstand and opens up the news app. She's doom scrolling. Girl, we've all been there. Because it's been on her head all day, and she kept being like, I don't look at it, don't look at it, don't look at it. But she needs to know. She needs to know the list of names of the victims of this most recent school shooting. So she scrolls down the bullet points of the story, then the introduction, looking for the only words that matter to me. Elizabeth Hawkins, 17, Demetrius Barkley, 16, Sarah Copeland, 17, Marcus Sheffield, 15, William Martin, 16. She says, in the coming days, there would be pictures, remembrance, funerals. But tonight, there were just these names, no faces yet to match, the barest of bare facts. That was the way it was when it wasn't personal, when your own heart didn't lurch at the sight of that particular combination of letters. That's such a goddamn good sentence. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When they were just other people's children's brothers, sisters, loved ones. Ethan Caruso, 17. 7 months earlier was different. He had been mine. And this is where we get the confirmation. Basically, again, the last two chapters have kind of alluded to what may have happened to Ethan, but we get the confirmation that her boyfriend, from what we can tell, must have been killed in a school shooting, which is terrible. So that is that. But yeah, that last, I don't know, like the last 2 pages of that chapter, I just think are phenomenal. Sarah, you're a goddess. You are so talented. Yes. And also, yeah, it's just, and that's the thing, like we do, like I remember obviously the two of us being from Orlando, and obviously not from Orlando, but having lived in Orlando for a period of time, and during the period of time where the Pulse shooting happened. And obviously, you know, Michael Ann, like you said, like you loved the queer nightclub scene. And you know, that was a place that you frequented before something like this happened. And I remember every year, and again, unfortunately, you know, so many people were killed in that incident. I know it's not a school shooting, but still obviously a mass shooting tragedy. And every year people put up the list of names, and I like make it a point to read them every year. But it is like, obviously it doesn't, like it hits me, but it doesn't hit someone who, like, you know what I mean? Like that's their person. Yeah. And it's just like crazy. And like, I always make, you know, I know people always talk about like, we need to remember the victims' names and not the, you know, person who did the bad things name. But it's just like, we spend so much time talking about them that unfortunately, like their names do get stuck in your head, and the people who like lost their lives, and, you know, completely no fault, innocent victims. Like it's so hard to remember like all of those names and like talk about all those people. And and whatnot. And it's just like, yeah, like to anyone else reading that article, like they're going to scroll through it and be like, oh, these are the people. Oh, 16. Oh, so sad. But then they're going to keep being, well, what is the motive? Like when it's not someone who matters to you, it's just a list of names. And that's just terrible to me. Like that this is like where we are as a society, that it's like, again, we just like expect it to happen again. But yeah, very, very tough topic, obviously, in this novel. These last couple episodes have been kind of hodgepodge, half chaos, half once and for all. But sorry, it's just like the world is a dark place, and sometimes we want to talk about light and fluffy stuff or vent about people complaining about a character not having muscles. But thanks for sticking with us and listening. Any final thoughts you have on the chapter, Michaeline, before we wrap up for today?
Nope.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good, but it's sad, and it's like hits too close to home. Unfortunately, again, as we said last week, as Americans growing up in this country, common sense, gun control, wouldn't it be great? Anywho, once and for all, we will be back, I guess, next week with the fresh chapters of that. I don't know, chaos. We'll see how we're feeling, how much Michaeline has to discuss about the OC. Maybe it'll just be a special OC episode, who knows. Either way, we know Jackie will be there supporting us, so we thank you for that always, Mom, and everyone else who comes and listens whenever you want. We appreciate you. Stop in, hang out the whole time, whatever, it's cool. Take care of yourselves, be well.
Bye.